Hello, Internet, and welcome a second time, although you will never see the first time, to the Free-to-Play cast brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things free-to-play related. I'm your host, Mike Byrne, aka Magicman, and this is episode 265, recorded on June 13th, 2018. You're watching it on the 14th or later, and today we get to go off the rails a little bit, ditch the whole free-to-play moniker just for a minute or two while we chat E3 2018. Now, also on the line, the host to talk about it, Jason, we go off the rails and talk buy-to-play and things like that occasionally when the conversation warrants it, but this is the one time a year where we kind of just get to talk about everything. So you ready to do it?
We go off the rails? We talk about crazy stuff that has no bearing on anything else? No, we never do that.
Never. It's always straight to the point. Download of information, isn't it, Q?
Yeah, sure.
All right, well, there's only really one big news topic. Let's get right to it. All right, so first we're going to break this up into two segments here. So we will segregate all the free-to-play information and put it by itself in the second topic. So if you really don't care about anything else, just the free-to-play stuff, check the information below and go to the second discussion topic timestamp, and you can bypass all the buy-to-play stuff. But E3 2018 was this past week, getting ready to wrap up now, I think, isn't it? Today?
I swear it ended like 3 days ago after all the conferences were done. I can't believe people are still talking about stuff.
Right.
There's more?
So here's what we're going to do. Jason, you've done this before on the Free-to-Play cast for the last, I think you were on the last 2 years, actually. We're going to go through, we'll talk about the big keynote conferences, we'll give our opinions of them, and then we'll kind of each pick our best in show as far as the big dogs go. Your EA, your Microsoft, your Sony, your Nintendo Direct, because they, haven't done live shit for years. Maybe Ubisoft, anybody else you want to throw in there we can kind of chat about. I know Q wants to talk about CD Projekt Red, so we'll jump over and talk about them for a little bit as well. So let's kind of start the roundtable with I don't think any of us is going to disagree here. What I think was probably the worst of the bunch. I don't think EA is in any danger of winning any of our Best in Show awards for E3 this year. Are they, Jason?
Not really. No, at least they said there are no loot boxes. Woo. That's, yeah.
Yeah, it just means we got another thing up our sleeve for you.
Probably.
That's the way I hear it when EA says something like that.
Pretty much, yeah.
Out of all of the shows, Q, and full disclosure here, Q, I think, watched most of these live because she was writing news articles for them as they came up. I watched them all on playback because I had a really stupid busy week with graduations and birthday parties. Jason, I think you were kind of a mix. Caught one or two live and then watched some replays or just some recaps on the other ones, right?
Mostly. I caught most of them live.
Okay. So let's start with EA, since I think it was briefly, obviously, big news, Battlefield 5, and a couple other things. Anthem ate up a big portion of their conference, like the last 15 or 20 minutes of their actual presentation. And I gotta say, I'm still excited for Anthem, personally, because I did enjoy Destiny 1. I enjoyed Destiny 2 until there was nothing to do. And realized how shallow the game was compared to what Destiny 1 had become over time. And so I'm looking forward to Anthem as that type of game. It's why I like The Division, and I'm looking forward to The Division 2. I was pissed that The Division 2 and Anthem are both early 2019 releases, but, c'est la vie, it is what it is. I do have to say, though, that I didn't think the gameplay they showed off for Anthem, their marquee title, in development, if you want to not count Battlefield 5, which, annual releases, I don't view those as marquee anymore. I gotta say, the gameplay kind of looked boring, actually, the way they structured the video. It wasn't very dynamic. They kept changing the camera angle on who you were looking at, which made it seem dynamic. But if you just looked at other characters, everybody was just kind of standing there shooting. I don't know. It left me lukewarm, Jason. I'm still excited for the game. I do like the way EA is talking about no loot boxes and things like that in other games, and I hope that will transcribe to Anthem. But I'm keeping myself tempered on this one.
I think the Anthem presentation made me less enthused for the game than I was going in. It's like you said. It's like they didn't.
And I can't disagree with you. I can't argue to try and change your mind on that one. I can see why it would have done that.
They didn't show anything that made me go, "Oh yeah, this is the game I want to play. This is really awesome." It's like, okay, you got 4 classes. They shoot stuff, and there's big monsters. Okay, I mean, it's Destiny 3 basically.
Yeah,
Destiny 3 with a little more rocket pack action, maybe. So
yeah,
it's
and
like,
Q, they followed up with a bunch of tweets that I think should have been in the presentation.
oh really? I didn't even know about. I don't even know about this. You're talking about it.
No, they were a bunch of people were asking questions of the Anthem team on Twitter because they were answered. They were kind of like doing an informal AMA on Twitter, and this was well after the event. And some of those things I think should have been in there, and some they were like glazed over. Like if you're wondering about the 4 different classes, everybody's a ranger at the start, everybody, and you unlock all the rest of them through gameplay. That was something that if it was mentioned in the presentation, I missed it. I only found out about it on Twitter, Q. I thought that was a little weird.
Yeah, I think I don't remember if I saw it on Twitter or somebody wrote about it or something, but yeah, that's where I found out. I do not remember it being in the presentation. But to be really honest, there's not a lot I remember about EA's presentation. So it's one that just, really did. I mean, I do remember it being kind of better than I was expecting, but I usually expect, sports ball across the board, maybe a couple of things, and me zoning out for most of it because it's sports ball. So
yeah, and they did a fair amount of that, talking about FIFA 19 and some of the new league championship leagues that are added to that. Madden coming back to PC, that's pretty big.
That's actually kind of interesting.
Yeah,
it has, and the EA like subscription thing or whatever they were doing.
Yeah, the EA Origin Premiere or whatever. Yeah. I was confused by that. I didn't quite get what they were trying to do with it. What it was like, Jason, maybe you understood it better than I can explain it. It was like it's a membership, but you can get new titles on Origin the day they release, and then if you don't have it, it's a couple days. I didn't get it.
As I understood it, it's basically Netflix for Origin.
Yeah,
you pay your money, you play all their games.
Yeah, so there's Origin, like there's the pay Origin already, where you get the games a couple of days in advance of everybody else. Just on, so you can buy the game in advance of everybody else and get it. But this one, it's like you still get the game in advance of everybody else, but it's more like you're renting it. So as long as you're subscribed, you have access to it.
Okay.
It's one of the it's kind of like
so it's
Netflix.
Like they pulled their Xbox Play subscription over to their PC Origin account.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's a dedicated library of all these games. You can play them as much as you want, as long as you subscribe. We don't care how many times you download each of them and that type of thing. Oh, okay, that makes a little more sense to me. I see, and maybe some of this comes from my non-familiarity with Origin, because I think the last thing I bought on Origin was SimCity. I mean, and that didn't go well, so I haven't bought anything else on there. City Skylines is where it's at. Forget SimCity. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I didn't like the camera shit they were doing either. With like it was just a wonky presentation for me. And I think we kind of all agree it was just. At best, I think we could give it a meh.
Yeah.
Meh. Moving on, let's hit Q. We'll hit your gang at CD Projekt Red. Obviously, the big thing they were there to talk about was Cyberpunk. And honestly, it kind of stole the show in a lot of regards. As far as private demos and watching people's reactions to them, we're still sharing people's reactions to them on our Skype in the back end here. Did kind of miff some people with one thing, including you. So let's talk about it a little bit. Cyberpunk, what'd you think?
Okay, so obviously the Cyberpunk was part of the Microsoft presentation, and it was so hilarious. Actually, I was sitting here watching it, and they were rolling into hey, we're done with Microsoft, we're done with our presentation, we're going to leave, and then they started doing the whole thing, glitching and all of this stuff, and I didn't realize, it didn't click in my brain until I saw beep pop up on the screen. Just beep.
Which is what the Cyberpunk Twitter account did a few months ago out of nowhere.
Right. So my boyfriend Barney, he's sitting over here, like behind me, and he was in the same spot while I was watching it, and I just hit the chair, and he's kind of glancing at me like I'm a crazy person, because I was like, but they did this whole cool thing where if you were fast enough, they actually gave out keys for The Witcher, like in their little hacky thing that they did, like where they were hacking it. And then they put up a big wall of text explaining why they haven't told us anything if we're freaking ever. And then they finally show everybody the video after they're done doing all the crazy stuff. And obviously the thing that a lot of people are mad about, say hi to the bird. The thing that a lot of people are mad about is that it's first person. And I was actually explaining this to somebody else. He's like, I don't understand why people are mad about this. And I was like, well, for a lot of people, traditional RPG, like, yes, it's partially because CDPR, everybody's familiar with them being third person games with The Witcher. And a lot of people just think of RPGs as being third person games, probably, from having played a lot of JRPGs and stuff like that over the years. And then in my case, the reason I'm not mad about it, I'm just disappointed that I may not be able to play it, because first-person games have, depending on the game, there are some I can handle, but first-person games in general give me severe motion sickness. So, and example, the BioShocks, where lots of people finish the BioShocks, within a week. It took me a couple of months because I would have to get up and walk away from it.
So you get like a vertigo type thing going on.
Oh yeah, I get super dizzy. I start the whole feeling of sweating bullets, I just feel like I'm about to throw up after, in some cases, after 10, 15 minutes. So
I think we
might be an actual.
I think we need Q to start writing reviews for us, Jason, on first-person free-to-play shooters. I think that'd be great, right? This game is so bad I threw up.
Well, so that might be an actual power in Cyberpunk, being able to sweat bullets. That's how you control your gun. It's a mod I got.
Even Minecraft. Minecraft is really bad about it because it's of the style, the art, the graphic style. Those are worse. So.
In the wall of text you mentioned, there was quite a lengthy letter about development and, hey, we're sorry we've been quiet and for a long period of time and everything. But they did answer a few questions in there that I think are worth noting here, Jason. And obviously, Google the whole letter for you if you want to read it. But as far as some of the questions, of course, they asked, said when. Everybody wants to know the release date. No clue. Basically the equivalent of it'll be ready when it's ready, and we like quality, so that's what drives us. How big? Everybody looking for how long is this game going to take? All they're saying right now, to quote them, is seriously big, but to be honest, we have no bloody clue at this point in time. Once we put it all together, we will openly tell you what you can expect. And we promise to do this before we start talking about pre-orders or asking anything of you. Again, CD Projekt Red has a good track record with this type of stuff. Free DLC expansions, DRM. They said expect nothing less than you got with The Witcher 3. As for DRM, Cyberpunk 2077 will be 100% DRM free on PC. And perhaps the best reply, Jason, question number 4, microtransactions? Their reply, in a single player role-playing game? Are you nuts? So they definitely scored points on that front.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't that interested in it going in. I know people have been hyping it up. Obviously, Q for one. A lot of people are really excited about it. And when I played The Witcher 3, which somebody bought for me, I don't remember who it was, some silly person. And while I kind of liked it, it's I just couldn't get into the story. There was so much backstory being plowed into me that I had to try and figure out, that I just couldn't get into the game in general. But I liked the style of it. I liked it in general. I liked how they built the game. So this is something that I actually am kind of interested in, because I won't have to deal with all that extra stuff, all the 2 other games of backstory that I have to deal with. I understand basic cyberpunky, dark future Shadowrun type stuff. So as long as they explain the very specifics of the world, which I imagine they would do, this is something I could find myself being really interested in.
Q, you've got a predator coming after you. I just want to warn you.
She is too.
Just want to warn you. You've got a dinosaur there that's sneaking around. Jason, to your point about Anthem and what they showed maybe de-escalating your hype for it a little bit, I am just peripherally interested in Cyberpunk. It just, I'm nowhere near Q's level of when the Twitter account beeped, that made Q's day. And I was like, Q, what the hell? All it said was beep. I mean, it's alive. However, what I did see elevated my interest in this game, even as somebody unlike Q that's just peripherally like, oh yeah, I'll take a look at that. Definitely amped me a little more for that one.
I wasn't enough of a geek to look and see what all the different Q&A stuff in the little thing was, but that's you. So.
Quote Forbes on that one. I got it straight from Forbes. I wasn't studying screenshots and stuff on that one.
Sure you weren't.
Since that was part of Microsoft's presentation, let's kind of just continue on with Microsoft's presentation as a whole. I gotta say, I thought, and I think if we watched the last few episodes, Jason, we weren't generally positive when we reviewed Microsoft's presentation for the last couple of years. They were behind the 8 ball when they announced the original Xbox One and all the stuff that they had to overcome and instead end up taking out of the system in that initial E3 when that was announced. Then when that came out and they were doing the Project Scorpio, they were kind of overshadowed by Sony's already almost available PlayStation Pro hitting the 4K market. So the last couple of years haven't generally been nice to Microsoft at E3, and we haven't generally been nice. But I gotta say, I think they did exactly what they needed to at this E3, which was just come out and show a shit ton of games. That's it. Show them all and get off the stage, Jason.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, it seems like an easy enough formula, but it's amazing how many companies get it wrong. I'm sure there'll be a couple of those later in our assessments. I mean, for me, I think the one we haven't talked about much that kind of interested me was the Forza game.
Yeah.
Being like, as I said, it's like what we wanted the Crew to be, kind of. It's actual open world car game sort of thing. The issue being, of course, when you watch the nice happy video, nobody was griefing each other,
of course,
ramming their cars into each other, which is completely unrealistic. But if something like that can actually work out, it's something I could see myself getting kind of into it.
Yeah, the thing with me and Forza, though, historically, and this like kind of goes to like even Gran Turismo as well, as big as that franchise is, I never got into those games, not because I don't like racing games. I enjoy a good racing game. The minutia of all the detailing and all this stuff, I don't care about cars that much. Where I could definitely see if you were a car junkie, Q, why Gran Turismo and Forza and all those types of games really scratch a perfect itch for you. And they just don't do it for me. And so I'm kind of lukewarm on the whole Forza thing. Generally, Microsoft, though, it was just game after game after game, Q.
It was 50 games.
Yeah.
They announced that at the beginning. I think it was 50 games and something like 18 exclusives. And then
which they desperately need right now.
And then they announced, that they brought in like 5 indie companies and all of that jazz. But my favorite thing about it is the system is great because since all they were doing is showing games, and the very few people that they did actually bring out on the stage were like the devs just wanting to show their games, nobody said anything stupid.
Yeah.
No one said anything that anybody could get in trouble for, that anyone could get offended by. Like, they're just like, here's a bunch of games, here's a few devs that are really excited about their games, but nobody was dumb. Yeah. And that was the best part.
Can we please not use any slurs? Let's just stick to talking. Hey, we're going to show you a trailer.
Jokes, no questionable jokes. Yep. Like, it was just, here's games and some devs.
No 20-minute interviews with Pele.
Right. Oh God. Yeah, I mean, it just felt better. I wasn't uncomfortable. There were points at EA's where I was like, oh God, how do I fast forward live TV? There were a few moments there. I didn't have that with Microsoft this year. So, hey, we'll see. We'll see if they pick up anybody's best in show here. Moving on with the big three. PlayStation, Sony kind of followed the same formula where they tried to just stick to game. But there were a few things in that presentation, too, that made me just kind of go, duh, please stop. What are you doing? Like the awkward transition from the outside tent to the inside that took probably way longer than they had rehearsed that to take. key things in this one, obviously, Death Stranding trailer, which I still don't know what the fuck the game is.
I don't know what it is, but I'm buying it.
I still have no clue what it is.
It's a Norman Reedus walking simulator is what I've gotten out of
Right.
it, and that's all I need to know.
Right, with baby fetuses. Feti? Fetuses. Fetus. What's it? Is it? It's fetuses.
Fetuses.
Feti. I like feti better.
We need to ask our one viewer. We need to ask Kinetic Fetus.
Yes. If there were many of you, would you be kinetic fetuses or kinetic feti? It's fetuses. Stop. I'm not stupid, people. I'm having some fun with the English language. So we had Death Stranding. We had Last of Us 2 pop up there, which kind of stole the moment as far as animation goes.
Yeah.
That kissing scene, as awkward as it is to sit there and watch it.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Yeah,
It stole that, but that kissing scene like just killed certain sections of Twitter. There's a lot of really upset people over the lesbian kissing scene.
I didn't. It was just awkward. Because they tried to put a little bit of context into what was going on there, but it's like watching two people you don't know make out at a bus stop. Yeah. I don't know. Like, did you guys just meet here at this bus stop? Did you hit it off that much? Like, they tried to put a little bit of context, and I don't. Who cares? It was two women. Great, fantastic. I'm talking about the animation was just sick on it. It was so amazing. Like down to slight jaw movements that you're like, I feel like I'm watching Grey's Anatomy. You know, it was amazing. They did a really nice job. The action sequences, though, in the game, Jason, I do gotta say, they did that same kind of thing, that same demo back when they did The Last of Us, where it was this very smooth, very cinematic, running and grabbing and throwing while in motion. And they did that during E3 before Last of Us came out. And then when it came out, we saw that that was a little scaled back. Maybe we pumped it a little too much. It wasn't quite as smooth. It was more on rails kind of driven. So I'm a little bit skeptical that it's going to play exactly like that. But I am interested in it.
Yeah, I don't remember the earlier demo, but yeah, I mean, I never played the original game. Just kind of looked up stuff about it occasionally. But yeah, definitely, this demo at least made me want to go back and maybe try the other game out to see how it goes.
You've never played The Last of Us?
No, I didn't. Well, I haven't had a PlayStation. I haven't had like a PlayStation for a while. So,
Q, did this do anything for you? Besides, you can appreciate the technicality of what they did there with that demo? Yes. Predators like wavy movie things. So
I'm just trying to keep her up there. I haven't actually played The Last of Us either. I do know that the context apparently of the scene that you were talking about isn't even from the original game. It's from like some DLC. That's the context.
God, it's Kingdom Hearts. You have to know all the DLC to understand the plot.
That would probably be why I don't know it. I played the full original game, but I never got into any of the DLC with her story and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that's where that comes from. Like, people are saying that it's all detailed out in the DLC. So if it's like shocking to you, like you played the original and it's shocking to you, then that's why.
That wasn't shocking to me. I was just like, this has no context. Where's this coming from? Whatever. Other notables, Jason, for you out of the Sony conference?
Sony is probably the one that I watched the least because I was like trying to do something else while it was on, so I didn't pay that much attention to it. Looking over the list, I have to actually get reminded of what it all is. Nothing that really stood out to me, honestly, because it was when I watched that, I kept my eye on The Last of Us. That looked really awesome. And I was just like, everything else, nothing's going to compare to that.
Yeah,
it was my mind. That's kind of how it felt for. Oh, that one, Ghost of Tsushima, that one samurai game.
Yeah, that does look interesting. That does look interesting.
But again, it makes me feel like it's a whole lot of very nicely coordinated action sequences. How's it actually going to play? Well, who knows?
Q, anything? There's a gnat in here.
You got a gnat. She's got a bird. I'm totally fine. I got fish.
I know I'm being attacked over
Go
here.
ahead, Q. Any other Sony notables for you?
Oh my God, Sony. I honestly, the only thing there's Kingdom Hearts, but you got to know.
Wasn't that part of Square Enix's presentation?
Yeah.
It was there too.
Was it in both?
It's both. It was in both because it was the only Sony's. Was it Sony's was the only one that they showed a different Kingdom Hearts trailer than they did for Microsoft. Like there were 3 that did Kingdom Hearts, but only one of them actually had a different trailer.
Right.
And I think it was Sony. I can't. But yeah, they had Kingdom Hearts and some of their standard fare and stuff. But the thing that I'm like super psyched about is Death Stranding.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the marquees that everybody was going to see Sony's show for. Finishing up the big 3, Nintendo skipped the live performance again and opted for their Nintendo Direct. Jason, you love these things. I'm lukewarm on them at best. I think Nintendo kind of limped into this one a little bit. I think that, honestly, though, the direct approach is probably the way to go. I kind of think that if it's not a console announcement or release year, that E3 is a bit overblown to begin with anymore, and expensive and all that stuff. So the direct approach, maybe others should look into it. But I think Nintendo kind of limped in this year. They have so many great IPs that are internal to them, but if they're not actively working on anything on those IPs that they're ready to announce yet, their shows always feel a little lackluster. And obviously the big one in this one was Smash Brothers.
Which is all their IPs. So
right.
There they are right there.
Yeah, it was pretty much the sum of the thing, other than them going, oh, and by the way, we're getting Fortnite.
Yeah, which they then turn around and got
we'll
like
get
the
into
next
later.
day.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in just a moment.
But I mean, first of all, to clarify, I don't necessarily love Nintendo stuff. I just like the Puppet Show from a couple of years ago.
Yeah, you did love the
that
Puppet
was
Show.
cool.
I hated
Yeah,
the Puppet Show.
I know you hated the Puppet Show, and I thought it was awesome. But yeah, and again, but the same thing. It's like they had one game they spent like half an hour, 45 minutes on. I think it was a Pokemon game back then, and this time was Smash Brothers. And it's like I barely remember anything else other than the 8,000 different characters. I thought they were going to do like a dev diary video on every one of them, like all 50 of them, whatever it was. They were kind of
did count them down. I mean, there was like numbers just popping up.
The numbers were. I didn't even pay attention to that. I was
Yeah,
like,
the
this is a
numbers-
random number.
The numbers were how many there were. So.
Yeah.
Other notables, I think we should touch on, let's say, Ubisoft and Square Enix, and then we'll pick our best of show here. Obviously, we're excluding a lot. What's that?
I call it Enix. I don't care what they say.
I've
call
only
it Phoenix,
recently started correcting myself because of official stuff they've released that says in English Square Enix. So, but yeah, I keep saying Enix too, have for years. So Square Enix, we've already touched on Kingdom Hearts 3. We've got Dragon Quest 11 coming out in September, which they released their information on collector's editions and special editions, which is why I didn't pre-order it from their site when it was originally announced a few months ago, because I was waiting for that. Went ahead and got my pre-order in there. We're also finding out with an interview that they haven't entirely taken Dragon Quest X, the MMO coming to North America, off the table yet. That is still something that they would like to do. Whether or not it'll happen, it's not going to happen. But it's relegated over there. I would love it to, but it's relegated over there with my pile of Phantasy Star Online 2 stuff. Big missing thing, obviously, Final Fantasy VII Remake was nowhere to be found, which tells me, if I had to guess, this probably is not coming out in even 2019. And if it does, it's going to be really late 2019, because they were already marketing things that have release dates in early 2019, like the first quarter of 2019. So if they weren't showing the Final Fantasy VII HD Remake at this E3, I don't think it's going to be coming out until late next year. And they're still doing that episodic release. I'm not thrilled with any of it, but conspicuously missing. I was just kind of lukewarm on this presentation too, although I did enjoy the games shown off. Q.
Yeah, it's another one where the presentation I don't even really remember it at this point. I mean, I watched a lot of hours of this stuff anyway, so it all kind of blends together. But Squeenix is one that I just don't remember all of it with clarity anymore.
Jason?
Tomb Raider looks good.
True.
New Tomb Raider looks good.
I liked Rise of. So
I haven't played that one yet. I just played the first reboot one. I still have to play Rise.
Definitely. Where so you have a PlayStation now, right?
No, I don't.
No,
well,
you don't.
yeah, I do. Yeah, my roommates do. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But I have access to one. Basically.
That's what I thought. So, finishing up with Ubisoft, obviously Division 2 was big in that show, releasing in March of next year. And honestly, I didn't care about jack shit that Ubisoft showed off besides that. I don't care about The Crew 2. I don't care about many of the things they showed off, Q. So if you have one you'd like to jump in and chat about, please do, because I don't. Division 2, yay.
Actually, what I enjoyed about Ubisoft was just like some of the format of their presentation, because it was just kind of silly and fun. And they had this whole community thing going on, talking about their star players and, bringing them in and stuff. But the best part, and it made me realize there's not a game, like there's a game out that should be made that hasn't been made, and I now want it, was when they had the marching band coming in to do the Just Dance stuff. And I'm like, why has nobody created a marching band sim?
God.
I would totally play that. Somebody needs to make a marching band sim, because I would totally play the hell out of that. Like you could, create the shows and everything else. It'd be so cool.
Jason, Ubisoft.
Ubisoft has all the games that I think look cool, but I know I'm never going to play. It's because they're sequels tied into something else, or I played something similar before and I didn't like it. So it's just like I want to love you, Ubisoft, but I just can't.
All right, and obviously we're leaving out a lot. We're just kind of giving our impressions. And of course, we're going to give you a chance to give yours. Predictable question of the week this week. I'm going to give my best in show as far as the big conferences. I'm going to give it to Microsoft. That's not saying that they had a fantastic performance or anything, like an A+ performance. I probably put it at like a B. But it was higher than everybody else's. So, on the curve, they're the winner. I'm going to give it to Microsoft. I think they came out and did exactly what they needed to do after a couple lackluster E3s, in my personal opinion. They came out and just knocked you over and bowled you over with game. They didn't put any bullshit garbage bans or anything in between. They didn't put any fluff that made me cringe. It was just game. Here's a game, here's a game, here's a game, here's a game. I may not have been interested in all the games, but as far as the presentation, I'm going to give my best in show to Microsoft. Q.
It just occurred to me, did we completely skip over Bethesda?
Yeah, we kind of did, because Bethesda pissed me off. You don't...
Oh, so you're just being, okay.
I'm being petty.
No, Ted.
Bethesda, you do not get to go to E3 and announce the Elder Scrolls 6 with a screen that has text. And count it as we announced the Elder Scrolls 6. That's cheating. That's bullshit.
No, the best part, it's not even being worked on yet.
It's pre-development.
I don't know, man. I mean, remember when what was it? It was the Sony show from Sony Live 6 years ago? They showed one single screenshot of that dude from EverQuest Next. I mean, how did that game turn out? It was fine, right?
Yeah, Bethesda kind of pissed me off. So I'm still giving it to Microsoft. Go ahead, Q. Best in show.
I think just for not embarrassing themselves, Microsoft, I did enjoy Bethesda, and I enjoyed Ubisoft. So it's kind of a bit of a toss-up for me. Although Bethesda's audience sucked. They were the most dead group of people ever.
Because they didn't care about anything that was mentioned before Fallout 76. They were just, come on, Todd, get off the stage.
There's other games. You guys make other games? Really?
No, and everybody else that was like, oh, Elder Scrolls 6, nice. That's it? We got to see the name, and it's not even going to be the finished name. Jason, you're best in show. So Q, I gave it to Microsoft. Q gives it a three-way tie with Microsoft, Ubisoft, and Bethesda.
I tend to agree with you on Microsoft. They were the ones that at least did the most without making it look bad. So I pretty much have to go with them.
I'm moving.
Although I still like that Fallout 76.
That's such a sad bar.
Yeah, like I said, it's not because it was an A+ presentation. It's because it was a B and nobody else got higher than that. On the free-to-play side, let's move over to the free-to-play side of E3, and we're just kind of going to hit these in reverse order from the way we posted them, because there was just a lot. Last couple of years at E3, it's been very minimal. Like, last year was dead as far as free-to-play goes. The year before wasn't too bad. This year, there was quite a bit. So let's start with the biggie, Jason. Fortnite hit the Nintendo Switch. We're also writing an article that's about to go up today on how it's already received over 2 million downloads. Sony's being a dick. If you played Fortnite on the PlayStation 4 and wanted to play on that same account on the Switch, their response is absolute bullshit, waffling, backing, and not even answering the question. But seems to be doing well on the Switch, and damn if this wasn't a system that was made for that type of game, right, Jason?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm hearing even that if you only played Paragon on PS4, never Fortnite, you're
well,
still
yeah, because
locked
it's
out.
you linked
It's
your
Epic account,
Epic
yeah.
Games account, yeah.
Yeah, but really, only 2 million in like 3 days. Well, that's terrible for Fortnite, I would think. But yeah, yeah. I mean, well, it's already on mobile phones, so I mean, why not put it on the Switch, which is like a jacked up mobile? So you know.
I do like Q, the comment on one of the comments on this article is from Sadface, and the comment is, back in my day, Fortnite was a game about defending against the zombie horde.
You're old if you can remember Save the World.
Q, High Res, doing a lot. They had like a Mixer-related Realm Royale giveaway thing. So Realm Royale making a big splash at High Res's conference a week after the damn thing came out.
Yeah, and the weird thing is too, they were really like trying to promote people watching the conference on Mixer, but apparently Mixer still can't handle it. is what I've gotten out of it.
That's always
like,
good.
It was, yeah, like I went over there, tried, and then went nope, had to go back to Twitch. Other people are like, why can't I stream? Because E3 is on Mixer right now, and it's just not working great.
Our friends at Digital Extremes, Warframe, the Sacrifice update is set to arrive on the PC later this week. It's Thursday. I just want to point that out. It's Thursday afternoon, middle of the afternoon, East Coast time while we're recording this. Almost 2 in the afternoon, East Coast time. It ain't out yet. And there was no date. It was just later this week, which I thought was really bizarre for a release that they weren't talking about sometime next month, Jason, or sometime next quarter. They were talking about sometime this week. So wait, you don't know whether it's Tuesday or Friday? How fly by the seat of our pants are we being here right now?
Everybody from Digital Extremes is at E3 and nobody's there to turn it on.
Right.
Well, when you're just a tiny independent company like that, what else can you do?
Oh, don't get me started on that one. We may have news on that one. That's bugging me. That's really bugging me. We're going to wait. We're going to wait and give them a chance to do what they said they're going to do. A couple freebies so that you could take advantage of. Ubisoft is giving away For Honor because nobody plays it. The Starter Edition, free for a limited time. There's people that play it. Just, not a lot.
I remember being a big deal for like the first week it came out.
Yeah, but then it was,
Exactly.
June 18th. So if you go in, it's not a full free-to-play offering. It's not like a free-to-play game. It's one of those things that we kind of post when we see them. It's, hey, if you like this, it's, Humble Bundle is giving it away for a couple of days. Go get it right now. And we consider that free-to-play enough to say, to at least put up a piece saying, if you want it, go get it. And that's one of these. It's, if you get it, you can keep it. It is the starter edition of the game. So make sure, if you want something else, you get the right thing. And you can get that up to June 18th. So as of this recording, the day you're watching it, you'll have like 3 days if you want to go grab it. But you got to go to Ubisoft's site and register on there. And we saw quite a few of those over those types of free for a little bit. Like Jason, Quake did the same thing, didn't they?
Quake Champions, yeah. Like it was, what was it? It was like you get the it wasn't even like the full edition though, was it? Where you get all the heroes unlocked or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they already have their really crappy free to play, and now they're making it slightly less crappy for a limited time. Join the Quake Champions free to play trial and stay free to play forever. I don't even know what that means. I don't even want to know.
Well, if you jump in, you're able to get what is it? One champion, the Ranger. That's right. It's the
That's what you
Ranger.
always said. You always had it was always free to play. You get one character, right? That's what it was back when I was looking at it
Right, but
before.
but now you get access to all maps and modes that are currently available in early access, right? So yes, you get all maps, all modes, and the Ranger. If you want any other champions, current or new, you need to get the Champions Pack. That's normally $30. There's a discount during this whole freebie limited thing of $19.71.
How is this different from what it used to be? I thought it was you log in, you can get one character free. That's what it was before. That's what we reported. That's why we don't cover it as a free to play game because it barely qualifies.
Was that
How is this
Quake?
different?
Because I remember that with Killer Instinct.
No, but they were doing it with Quake Champions too. I remember it pissing me off.
Really?
So I don't know. It's still so basically now it's an even crappier deal because it's not available all the time. Whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, Bethesda makes other games.
Q, I'm gonna let you go because I'm mad at them. Bethesda revealed Elder Scrolls Blades, and that Elder Scrolls Legends is coming to consoles. I don't care about either of these. Elder Scrolls 6, your demo sucked. Go ahead, Q.
Okay, Blades is actually, it's just they kind of went,
No.
okay, well...
No. Bad Q. Bad Q.
Bad.
Tell,
What?
Tell
What
it.
did I do?
Tell everybody Bethesda sucks.
I don't really have feelings about Bethesda one way or the other. They're not on my list of, like, high or low games. The only game that they actually make that I care about is Fallout, so...
All right, so Blades, what do we got there?
Well, so basically they looked at Fallout Shelter and went, well, this is doing really well, but apparently they wanted to do this beforehand, I guess, but I don't know, maybe cell phones weren't quite up to the task at the time. So Blades is a fully functional RPG game that you can play on your cell phone starting out. And they've done this weird thing. They want to make it so that you can do it while you're in meetings or class or whatever. So they've made it to where you can, turn the phone into portrait mode rather than landscape. And so you can kind of just sit there and play and look like you're not doing anything maybe other than checking your messages.
We don't see enough bad parenting news articles about how games are taking over children. Couldn't possibly be parents not being responsible enough to say, you're 9, you shouldn't have a console in your bedroom. You're 9. God's sake.
So, I mean, it looked like a really neat thing. The other thing is it's supposed to be at some point they're doing solely the mobile version right now, but at some point available across platforms, including even VR. Which is what they pitched it as. This guy's over here playing it in VR while she's playing the game with him on her cell phone at work. So, it looks neat if you're an Elder Scrolls fan, but...
Jason, well, that sounds impressive. To me, it also screams somebody out of those two is getting a really shitty experience. I'm not sure who, but I don't know. We'll see. Legends, the card game coming to consoles, that's happening later this year.
The new developer.
Right? What Life is Strange got like this related like offshoot story at Microsoft's thing, and that's completely free too, right, Q?
Yeah, it's basically I think of it as kind of like PT was going to be for Silent Hills.
Gotcha.
Is the impression I got of it. Like they talk about it like it's a fully fledged game, and it's kind of a prequel-y kind of thing to Life is Strange 2. But their goal is to make this entire universe and it not just be about a specific set of characters or anything like that. Like Life is Strange is supposed to be this whole big
right
realized universe. So this is kind of the start to that. But yeah, it's free, but I you get the feeling like they make it sound like it's a bigger game than PT was. But...
Well, they're billing it as a prequel, so I would assume that.
Yeah.
So that's The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, and you'll be able to get that on the Xbox One, the PlayStation, and Steam on June 26th. Wrapping up the free-to-play news, Dauntless, while there wasn't a ton of news on it, Jason, the first big update for that game is coming next month in August.
Which is always kind of weird for me when a game has been in beta for so long. Now they're saying, now we've got our first update. It's like you've been doing updates for months, but okay.
Not a ton of details, new behemoth, that type of deal, but
Yeah.
we'll keep our eye on it.
New range weapon, apparently. There you go, finally.
Right?
Getting what you want.
That's it. That is what I wanted. Before we head over to the bombs and wrap this up here, we do get to just take a minute and smile because LawBreakers is now officially free. You can go on Steam and download LawBreakers and play it. Get in there for free. You don't have to pay. Totally free.
For another 3 months.
Then it's shutting down September 14th. Let's slide over and go to the weekly bombs. Q, go ahead.
I don't actually have one right now.
All right. Well, then let's go first, and you can figure one out while
Go
we're
ahead,
doing it.
Jason.
No, my brain is so fried.
Okay.
No bomb from
Yeah.
Q.
I'm giving an A-bomb to whoever's behind that whole Fortnite thing where you can't log in if you're on a PlayStation 4. People are saying Sony. I can't think Epic's totally blameless in all this. So, just A-bomb to...
I put it all on Sony.
I think it's Sony.
It's definitely Sony, but I kind of agree with you that I don't think Epic's blameless in that they knew that this was going to happen. They had to have known
Sure.
in advance that, hey, if you linked with Sony, you're not going to be able to link with anybody. I don't see Sony pulling the wool over Epic Games' eyes and not telling them that.
That's what I'm saying. If it's somewhere in the deal that you guys negotiated, then Epic at least carries a little bit of the blame for it. They could have said, no, we don't want it to be like that, but they were okay with it, apparently. They signed off on it, so... Yeah.
I'm going to give an A-bomb. Jason, we're finally getting a new Command & Conquer game. Finally! Yes! Yes! But it's mobile. Oh...
You want to talk about awkward...
And it looked like a
demos.
shitty mobile game. Oh, God.
They were hyping the hell out of it. They were like, oh, man, look at how awesome this is. Look at how great this guy is running his tank in here. Look at this guy and that guy. Oh, they're going at it. Isn't this great?
Like,
It's
my
oh
hype
God.
already fell a little bit because it was mobile, but that's all right. There's very few that I play, but I will play them in Command & Conquer. Very near and dear to my heart for many, many years. But it just looked dumb. It just looked really stupid. From the viewers, Elusive X Treasure, A-bomb to too many games, not enough time. Just got back into Final Fantasy XIV. I'm in the middle of a playthrough with my hubby on Divinity Original Sin, and have Detroit Become Human and Vampire that I have yet to touch, to only name a few. Upcoming, Summerfest in Rift in July, which of course I have to mess with for the whole new shinies. Defiance 2050 in July. Yep, we got a release date for that one. Founders Packs incoming. And Divinity 2 comes to consoles in August. And that's just 2 months out. My soul for a pause button on life. Speaking of that, Q, this Vampire was a game you and I were kind of interested in when they showcased it at E3 last year. I'm playing it on the PlayStation 4. Really enjoying it so far. Really, really enjoying it so far. I'm not very far in, just like a couple chapters, but really enjoying it. Go ahead, Jason.
Coldfire 1080 says, da-bomb to ice cream.
Okay.
I agree.
Sure, but it's awesome. A question for the free-to-play cast. What currently is your most played free-to-play game and why?
Go for it,
What am I
Jason.
playing a lot of right now?
Mine's easy. I've talked about it the last couple of shows. I've been playing a lot of Neverwinter lately because I
Oh,
have
it's probably
friends that
go
play
ahead.
it and having fun.
It's probably still Hearthstone for me. I thought I played a lot, but I play it consistently. Like I don't seem to take like long breaks from it or anything. Like I just got back into World of Warships lately, but I'm just not playing it quite as regularly as I do Hearthstone.
Q?
I guess right now Star Trek Online, just because I'm kind of floating between things since Secret World Legends is doing who knows what
Like
the fuck
nothing?
they're doing. Yeah. Yesterday they were saying something about they were going to drop in a refer a friend program, and then that got borked, so they didn't even do that.
Go ahead, take the next one, Q.
Adam Tomical. I like that name. Love the podcast. Used to be an avid listener before university started. Glad to be back listening. Weird question out of left field. Why do you think Sega canceled the North America release of Phantasy Star Online? Just to upset Mike.
Adam, welcome back. We love having you. Thank you for the compliment. And that's the only reason they did it. So I've been forced to. I still do. I play it on the Japanese servers with the English patches. Thank God for that community, by the way. Otherwise,
Also, Adam, you can listen to our podcast in your university, in your classes by pulling your phone in portrait mode. Just like Elder Scrolls Blades.
The next one, Hydrix Sky Shadow. I have a dub bomb for Tabletopia. Me and my friends just discovered this game. Frankly, it's awesome. A lot of board games for players to enjoy, from simple to complex to way, way, way too complex. I mean, how the hell do you make a 1-hour tutorial? Nevertheless, for someone that has no way of getting a physical version or have at least the minimum player required to play the simplest of games, Tabletopia is the one game I can turn to when I just feel like playing a board game. Go ahead, Jason.
10 lines says Jason will be wearing his kilt. Yeah.
I almost wore mine today because of this, by the way.
Maybe you should all wear kilts, and it could be the kilt episode. I will even wear my kilt while I listen to the show. So why are kilts never offered as costumes in MMOs? First of all, how do you know I'm not wearing a kilt right now?
I almost put mine on because of when I did the show notes.
Do you have a legit kilt?
I do.
Or...
I do. Yeah, mine was handmade Irish Fest type deal. Yes, I do. Green plaid.
But it's not like your family lineage. Like
no,
Scottish,
I have.
It's not like the.
No. It's a generic template as far as the style of it, but it does have family crest and things like that. So my coat of arms and all that stuff.
How far back can you trace your ancestry? All the way back to the homeland?
All the way, brother. All the way. Sure. Actually, from my mom's side, English royalty, by the way. But that's another. But that's everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
On our side of the pond.
I've actually documented mine.
And as far as other games, kilts are in Star Trek Online, aren't they, Q? I could have sworn a few years ago there was like funny stories about cosmetic kilts being in Star Trek Online.
You know what? There might be because of Scotty.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because he wore it in when he played the bagpipes at Spock's funeral.
Yes.
So people are talking about them on Reddit, so yeah, I think that's true.
Go ahead, Jason. Take the next one.
I just did the last one.
Oh, you did the last one. That's right. Go ahead, Q.
I was like, wait, are you just giving him the really difficult name? So, Nesna Protsdam. Sorry.
Close enough.
Too many syllables, man. Sorry, but spending $150 on a Founders Pack is simply the dumbest thing ever. Have nobody learned anything from ArcAge? Mike is the definite definition of not. But you know what? It's kind of like this whole thing of just wanting to be excited and enjoy things. And if you got $150 to blow, it's your money to do with what you want.
Oh, I got that shit back. Wilfredo Rivera, dub bomb to Troy for being clairvoyant about Bless Online. A lot of people commented this exact same thing. I didn't obviously give all of them in here. I own all of my comments on my hopefulness for Bless, but respect Troy for being 100% correct. I didn't spend a single cent on the game, but every review about the game has been disappointing at best. I tip my hat and give nothing but respect for Troy for standing his ground about Bless being a failure out of the gate. I bow to you, Noob Fridge. Good call. By the way, Troy does owe us a video because the previous cast did reach over 100 likes. That video is incoming. Troy already acknowledged yesterday when I talked to him. Go ahead, Jason.
Just confirming, yes, I can see screenshots of Kilt in Star Trek Online, and also the Scant, which was that like male skirt you saw in the first episode of Next Generation.
Yes.
Anyway, Amiko-chan13 says, I want to give a dub bomb to NeoWiz for creating the best advertisement for Guild Wars 2 in ages. We got so many players. Yay, bless.
I figured you'd like that one, Jason. Finish it up, Q.
Ken Schiller, Troy was right. Bless Online, Mess Online was just that, a mess. They capped the FPS. They took out the mobs and NPCs. They took a lot of finished content out.
Oh, yeah.
All in the name of optimizing the game better.
Which it wasn't.
What they did was sell a beta at full price. They should have just made the game a free-to-play. I refunded the game 2 days later. I still have plenty of other games to play while I wait for Lost Ark, when and if it comes out in the U.S.
That's another one we're waiting for.
This Korean MMO was terrible, but I am so hyped for the next Korean MMO.
Question of the week last week. Now that you've had a chance to jump into, if you wanted to, what is your take on Dauntless? Hydrix Sky Shadow says, oh man, where can I start? Honestly, I believe this game is a big, big disappointment. I'll start from the character creation screen. WTF. I always try to make my character look somewhat cool, but here it always turns out involuntarily stupid looking. Almost on par with Sid from Ice Age. Now the combat. Okay, so every single hitbox in this game is completely and utterly fucked. From the monsters to the fighters to the weapons to the trees, I got stuck in so many trees. The dodge and block almost feel like a joke. Weapons go through the monster. You can get hit by some invisible wall that's stuck on a monster. The lobby is huge with only 2 interesting points. The questing is atrocious. The story is beyond bland, and it's more repetitive than goddamn Dota. But yeah, the game is fun when it works. As far as monster hunting games, this is a good one, and probably the only free one we'll ever get.
Man,
I edited
that's a
so
nice
many
conclusion.
expletives out of that. Best review ever. Go ahead, Jason.
Wow. It's a better conclusion than I was expecting reading through it.
Right, got stuck in so many trees. 9.5 out of 10.
Came to Spar that says, Dauntless is a fun enough game with some interesting bugs to say the least. For now, it's a nice way to stave off the Monster Hunter itch, and the devs themselves during the, as always, terrible launch were highly communicative and provided a sense of community. You could see the humanity behind them and feel like the game you were playing was actually made by people who were in it for more than just the money. That, for me, might be worth sticking around even after the launch of Monster Hunter World. Edit, if you want a good example, check out the latest update notes.
And we did give them credit, Phoenix Labs credit, on a previous free-to-play cast, too. I mean, particularly with the queue issues and stuff that they were having at launch. They busted those things down quickly. A couple of days. So, go ahead, Q.
Sokopex, Dauntless looks like crap. Love y'all.
We love you too, Sokopex. Squeezy says, question of the week, I've been playing Dauntless more than I thought I would. I'll probably be playing Monster Hunter World when it launches for PC, then Dauntless, but it's a good game and definitely has its place in the free-to-play market. Anyone who plays Digital Extremes' Warframe in its launch, I can see a few similarities between DE and Phoenix Labs as to how they treat their game. Hope they can do a good follow-up work on Dauntless as well. So kind of a mixed bag there, Jason, on the whole Dauntless thing.
But I think in general it kind of matches what I said, which is that it's pretty good for a free-to-play game, but probably Monster Hunter World is better and, costs money and so on. But if it's what you can get,
there you go.
Go ahead and play it.
Question of the week this week, obviously, E3 2018. Who was your best in show? Big, small presentation, even an individual game. We don't care how you want to give it out. What wins your best in show award for E3 2018 and why? Until next week, Q, where can everybody find you?
Chilling on Twitter at Quintland.
Jason.
Also chilling on Twitter at Winter Informal and being hot as heck on my stream, twitch.tv/JasonWinter.
The hottest stream around. I'm Mike Byrne, aka Magic Man. You can follow me on Twitter at MagicMan1. But more importantly, while you're there, follow at MMOBomb so you get the tweets on all the free-to-play cast, first looks, videos, previews, historical articles, and more. Until next week, stay safe. We'll see you on the servers.
Thank you.